Hello and welcome to Thursday, November 12th, 2020. Thanks for listening and watching the Day Weather Podcast. Well, before I get to the weather, I want to share with you something very special. Yesterday, I was at a presentation at the Albany County Central Station Fire Department in Laramie, where Cowboy Skill Games donated $15,000 to the Mullen Fire Area Volunteer Fire Departments to thank them for all they did during the Mullen Fire, and also to draw awareness to how important volunteer fire departments are in Wyoming and really throughout all of the Intermountain West. I really encourage everyone that's listening and watching this podcast, if you can, donate to your local fire departments. They're so very, very important. These guys work 24/7. They're available all the time on little or no notice in emergency situations. A lot of times they're the ones looking out for us. A lot of times they're the first responders on the scene. Thank you, Cowboy Skill Games, and thank you all volunteer firefighters in Wyoming and across the Intermountain West. Now let's get into the weather. Small break is coming. We've got mountain snow returning, then windy conditions rolling in across the high plains. Windy at times east of the Divide. Hate to say it, we're in one of those wind festivals. East of the Divide, it's going to be very, very windy, I'm afraid, through Saturday and probably Sunday. Now, there's going to be another big shot of mountain snow coming late Friday and the Sunday. We saw anywhere from 1 to 2 feet of snow in the northwest mountains of Wyoming, eastern Idaho. The northern Wasatch of Utah got some heavy snow. Some nice snows in the southern mountains of Wyoming and northern Colorado as well. There's a bit of a break, but there's another big shot of mountain snow coming late Friday and the Sunday that probably will be heavier than the one that just went on through. Now, we're going to continue to have that forecast that talks about better weather during the first half of next week. Monday through Wednesday of next week, maybe Thursday looks delightful with some high pressure. Now, the pattern gets more active again by next weekend and into Thanksgiving week. After this good weather break early next week, by late next week, next weekend, into Thanksgiving week, we may have 2 or 3 different fronts and storms to contend with. This is where we are today. That jet stream just roaring across the North Pacific and coming into the Intermountain West. See this little wave right here? That's what came through yesterday and last night, bringing the mountains some snow. The next wave, it doesn't look like much, but here it is, just off the coast of British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest. It's going to come into the southeastern area. It's going to track southeast into the Rockies by Friday into Saturday. And here it is. This is overnight Friday and the Saturday. It doesn't look like a lot, but as we have said throughout the week, northwest flow into the Rockies, when there's embedded moisture energy, you're going to get some big mountain snows. But east of the Continental Divide, you're just going to get the wind. This is what the precipitation looks like through Sunday afternoon. Doesn't this map look almost identical to what I showed you yesterday? Oh, that's because the pattern is so predictable when you get into this northwest flow like this, where the mountain ranges are going to be picking up all of the good moisture, really good moisture. But east of the Divide, you get some flurries and some snow showers, but you get a Chinook effect, and east of the Divide, conditions are dry. Here's another look at our snowfall totals. This basically is what's showing the next wave is going to do. So you can see there's a foot and a half to 2 feet of snow that's going to fall in some of the major mountain ranges of Montana, Idaho, Wyoming. Another good slug of snow for the ski areas in southern Wyoming and Colorado. And look at the Wasatch. The Uintas, the Wasatch, going to do really, really well. And another nice round of snow for the central and northern Sierra Mountains. Interstate 80 travelers, Friday into Saturday, look where you're going to run into some problems there, so keep that in mind if traveling. Now here's early next week's jet stream pattern. Here's that nice broad ridge that builds in Monday through Wednesday and maybe hangs on into Thursday of next week. So Monday through Thursday of next week, really, really good weather. But by next weekend, the ridge builds up in the Gulf of Alaska. We know what that means. The troughs start to come back into the western United States again. With this guy, then this system right here and another one behind it poised to come in Thanksgiving week. Too early to tell whether or not we're going to have travel problems or big travel problems Thanksgiving week, but it's something to keep an eye on. Thanks for listening to watching the Day Weather Podcast. We'll see you on Friday.